if you observe a dog, which I've been doing more often recently, you realize they inhabit quite a different reality. It seems that 70% of their reality consists of smells. It's the first thing they go to, the first to find out about things and people, whoever is there, whatever is there. The first thing they go to is they smell it out. And then probably the next one is hearing. And the third one may be seeing. And many animals are like that. So they perceive the world differently. The predominant perception is smell. And there is a richness there that we could never even conceive of smells, of different smells. Humans can't, maybe we had it once, we can't retrieve that. We could be happy enough if we can smell the freshness in the air, the moisture of after a rain shower like yesterday, the moisture that rises from the ground. It smells, you smell the earth, the aliveness of it. So, as much as possible, step back out of the story, which is there anyway. It is unfolding. Between past and future unfolds the story of me. Between past and future, there's the movement of time that eventually consumes you as that form, does something to you like some dreadful disease, the flux of time. Eventually you shrink and get old and you wither, and it looks as if everybody were in the grip of some disease. What is the name of the disease? What are you suffering from? Time. It's been diagnosed as fatal. It's only a question of time when it's going to end. Or as one man wrote to me the other day, he worked out mathematically, he had this image of somebody jumping off a inconceivably high cliff and then falling. And the fall takes 80 years or 85 years, the average age, before he or she hits bottom. And he works out how many kilometers he falls in 80 years. I don't remember the figure. But as far as the form is concerned, that includes your story, it's destined to hit the ground eventually. And all problems are suddenly solved. But there's more to who you are, fortunately. And everybody deep down knows that that is not all, otherwise they would all be jumping out of the windows already. What's the point? And even to be aware of how fleeting all that is on the level of form, even to observe that and to acknowledge that and to see that, wow, this is amazing. That is already a spiritual thing to do. The simple awareness of mortality, the awareness of impermanence, the awareness of the fleetingness of all forms, there's already a spiritual dimension present. So you can watch a film. I saw a film recently whose main subject matter seemed to be death. It was about 3 women in different ages living. One a novelist, one a temporary woman who was reading a novel. I can't remember the details. But it was basically about impermanence and death. And some people say this film is depressing. No, if you truly see it, it's already spiritual. Anything that puts you there as a witness of the impermanence of things, and some films can do that, or some works of literature do that. And when you are there as the witness of that, without even ever having to say or think about anything else, the spiritual has already arisen in you. Because it's the awareness that is formless. The formless in you is the aware presence that is aware of the short-lived nature of all forms. That's why the contemplation of death ultimately is already a spiritual thing, when you allow it to be. Of course, on one level, something in you says, And when you imagine yourself that you're in free fall, and you don't know how many thousands of kilometers you're away from the bottom, nobody knows. And yet when you contemplate that, it's almost liberating to see it's all relatively insignificant, because it's all destined to dissolve quite soon. And then the entire world becomes only relatively important. It loses its heaviness, because it's all smoke. It's all like clouds, temporary formations. And clouds are very temporary. If you watch a cloud, it has one shape, one moment, and then a different shape, and then it's gone. So as much as possible, step out of the conceptual world, past, future, forms, all that which is destined to dissolve soon anyway. Go into the immediacy of sense perception. Yes, whatever you are hearing, touching, smelling, seeing, whatever. Of course, that also is short-lived. And yet, the awareness, the presence that enables you to perceive is the formless within the form that you perceive. The attention, the alertness. So in every sense perception there's hiding something that is deeper than the perception. We mentioned that even in a dream that looks unreal, there must be something real, otherwise how could the dream be? There must be something there. And of course, yes, it's the consciousness in which the dream happens. And the question, is the world real or unreal, should not be asked on an intellectual level. That will just lead to a lot of philosophy with no final answer or beliefs. Your own life, what is real about my life ultimately? Is there anything real about my life? Or what do I know for sure? Descartes, the philosopher, he asked that question. What is it that I can know for sure? He never stopped thinking, and so he thought it's thinking, that I'm always thinking. But if he had gone a step deeper, he would have realized the sense of beingness or presence that is deeper than thinking. The question that you are is beyond doubt. You can doubt anything, but you cannot doubt that you are. It's life itself. I don't know what I am, the form may be short-lived, But the fact that there is something here that knows that the form is short-lived, there's no doubt that that has reality. There is something in you that is. There's no doubt about that. I am, that I know. What I am, I don't know. I appear as a body for a while, and perhaps I appear as a flower, I appear as whatever form. Perhaps the I am is in every form. What I am is the one I am. That thing that is beyond doubt, that my own being, the beingness that is here, of course it is. It's the life that I am is beyond doubt. And could that be the same life and the same being and the same I am that is in every form of life? The formless essence of all life. And so if you can be aware that you are aware that you are, then that's enough. Aware of being, of presence. Presence being self-aware through you. You are it. And then what you are is the temporary roles that you, disguises that you go into. I'm a successful businessman for a while, until you hit the ground, or the stock market collapses. Then the psychological entity hits bottom before the physical entity hits the bottom. I'm a failed writer, whatever, another concept in the head. I'm somebody who's missed out on life. Life passed me by. Where is life? Here, now. It passed me by, it's long since gone. It didn't give me what I needed. So stepping out of the story, the structural aspect of your form life, life in form, as much as possible, then you access something that is deeper than past and future, than the form, than that which dies, yourself. And the temptation of the world is, it pretends that that's all that matters. Matter is all that matters. This is important. Thought. So it's a continuous, for a while, waking up out of being totally identified with the structural aspect of your life, the story of me, where it's coming from and where it's going, and giving an ultimate importance to that. Relative importance, yes, you do what you can now, can only do it now, can only do at this moment what I can do at this moment, can't go beyond that. Past and future lose their heaviness. And the new comes in, something that is fresh and new is always present. You remain fresh and new, like a day that's just like today, this morning. No past. Absolute presence. And if you carry past into that perception, it becomes obscured. It even disappears. And the morning is no longer fresh, and you are no longer fresh and alive. And the longer you live identified with form and with your story, the more burdensome it gets, and the world feels stale and old and weary. Expressed in a character, I believe, in Shakespeare, maybe it's Hamlet who is considering killing himself. How weary, stale, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Weary, stale, like bread that has become stale. Weary, stale, and unprofitable, meaning pointless, useless. That's how it becomes. You don't want to end up there. And part of that is not reducing the magnificence of this moment, the depth and the aliveness of this moment, that's all you ever have, to a means to an end, which is the story. Make it just into a stepping stone so that I can reach the next chapter, the next paragraph in the cheap fiction of my story, of me. Absurd. So that simple thing, bring the alertness, wake up, become aware of sense perceptions, and that which underlies every sense perception, yourself, the perceiver, the perceiving consciousness, the attention, in which there's no tension. Attention. And sensing the inner body, the aliveness that is there. And becoming alert to this moment. It's no longer a means to an end. It has a depth to it that is sufficient unto itself. And you to know that, you don't need to sit still. You may be sitting still, but it's not necessary to sit still. You can be involved in movement and be fully present in the movement of your life. Fast movement, slow movement. Be fully present in the movement. Enjoy the energy movement of this and be there also as the witness of it, and yet you are doing what you have to do. No, you're not in a hurry. This is why you can do something fast if you have to. You may be doing less things if you're no longer living in the mad hyperactivity of the human mind. Perhaps there are fewer things that you need to do really fast. But occasionally, it is called for. You may have to move fast. And you're totally present in the movement, enjoying that without needing to arrive at the next moment. This moment is good enough. I'm running to catch the train. It's good. It feels good. And then you miss it. Oh. At least you enjoyed yourself. That's why I have in Zen this another famous saying, hurry slowly. Hurry is maybe fast on the external. Slow means the stillness remains inside, even though you're fast on the external. So if you have to, you can be very fast. You look at martial arts, they can be, if they have to be fast, they're very fast. Without losing the rootedness in being. So it doesn't pull you out of being. And then when you sit quietly in your room, the dynamic aspect of being remains. The stillness is also dynamic in you, which means you don't go to sleep. When you sit quietly in your room, the stillness remains vibrantly alive. So in the stillness there is a vibrancy, and in the external activity there's also a stillness. So you have the two polarities. Or as I sometimes call it, Buddha and Clint Eastwood character. And the present moment, just all that would be enough. Not remembering, it's not a means to an end. Give it fullest attention and enjoy it. Enjoy the doing. You can't enjoy the doing if the next moment is more important than this. Enjoy whatever it is that is required of you at this moment. The aliveness of it. The external is allowed deeply, it's because it is, and then you go deeper than the form. So even if on the external it looks unpleasant, I'm wet and cold and it's windy and I want to get home. Okay, and then you bring a yes to it. As we talked yesterday, you become a duck or wet poodle or whatever it is. And the wet poodle is not complaining. He's just wet, and then he shakes, and nobody says, it's cold and wet. There's no judging entity there. It is as it is, says the dog, if he could speak. Be present in every movement. You can live like that. And just to try a slow movement and be present is a beautiful thing to do, just because it's not a means to an end. When this arm is here, it's not trying to get there. It's just here, and it's just here, and just here, and just here, and just here, and just here, 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 here. Not I'm trying to get there. I'm here. Beautiful. So you can do that either by practicing Tai Chi or Kim's movement practice called Kim Fu Chi. Which a few years ago I saw her performing spontaneously for the first time at a retreat. What is happening? It's simply presence expressing itself as joyful movement. And there was a slow kind of dance, and I saw her doing it, and I said, where does that come from? It came out of presence, the joyful expression of presence. And in that moment I thought maybe what I'm witnessing is the early origin of Tai Chi. Perhaps that's how it started, with someone allowing him or herself to express spontaneously the state of presence in movement. Some people believe that Tai Chi originated when people observed the movement of animals and tried to imitate that. But I believe it was a spontaneous expression of presence. Although, of course, if you watch animals, you see a certain similarity between that being present in every movement and, for example, the movements of a cat walking. Amazing to watch that. That is Tai Chi too. They are not in a hurry, just present. They just watch, and when they watch, they just watch. They're not thinking about what's going on there. They know what's going on without having to conceptualize it, and then movement continues. And suddenly there's an energy built up, and they jump. You could never think that a thing could jump that high. It's almost magic. And then they're still again. You could spend hours watching. So if you practice movement, it's a beautiful way of learning to be, not to make this moment into a means to an end. Just a simple movement. Because in the ordinary consciousness, every movement, through it you want to get somewhere. That's more important. So just, it could be spontaneous, it could be a sequence that you follow, but the important thing is, this presence at every step. And if you are disabled and can't move very well, it would be enough to move your hands. Dance with your hands. And you can make some activity into a movement that is present. A dance. Wiping a table. Cleaning your shoes, doing this or that, putting on a shirt. And whenever that happens, there's a gap in the continuity between past and future in your life. There is a gap in your life, in the story of me, of presence, a gap of presence. And the more gaps of presence you have, the more alive you are. Does the story suffer? Can you no longer continue writing that fiction of me? No, you can. But it'll become literature. Your life from